Hi, this is teacher Asif, and in today's lesson, we are going to start a new course on journal training, IELTS writing task 1. For this task, we have to write a letter or an email. So let's start our first lesson. So this is the question. In this question, okay, first of all, they tell you that you have 20 minutes to write a letter. And after that, they give you the prompt. You have recently moved to a different house. Write a letter to an English speaking friend. Okay, it just means a friend who can write and read English. In your letter, okay, explain why you have moved, describe the new house, and number three, invite your friend to come and visit. So you can see that there is a statement and then there are three bullet points. So these three bullet points means that you have to write one paragraph on each bullet point. So there will be three body paragraphs. And then they tell you that you have to write only 150 words. And next they tell you that you do not need to write any address. So you don't write any address or anything like this. You can start with dear, then you can say dear sir or madam, dear John, like this. Let's start with the first basic. So you see, there are three kinds of letters: formal letters, semi formal letters, and informal letters. These are three kinds of letters, but in the exam, they give you only one to write about. So there are three kinds of letter, and you have to write only on one of these three letters. But this also means that we have to understand what is the difference between all the three letters. So let's start with formal letters. So we write formal letters to people we do not know personally. It means a manager of a shop or a hotel or a bank or a company or a government office. So we don't know the manager or the director or of a company. Okay, we don't know them personally. So that's why these kinds of letters, okay, they are called formal letters. And the examiner may ask you to write a letter to complain, request information, or apply for a job. So these are the most common topics. Next is semi-formal letters. So we write these letters to people we know personally, but not very closely. For example, your boss, your landlord, or teacher, or a supervisor. So obviously, we know these people, we know our boss, we know our landlord, but not very closely. They are not our friends or family. The examiner may ask you to write a letter to request time off, invite your manager to an event, explain a situation to a colleague. Number three, informal letters. We write these letters to our friends and family members. And the examiner may ask you to write a letter to thank a friend for help, invite a friend to visit, apologize for not meeting, share personal news, ask for advice. So these are the most common topics for informal letters. So now you understand the difference between formal, semi formal, and informal letters. So let's consolidate this lesson and practice. In this practice, you have to identify whether the letter is a formal, semi formal, or informal letter. Write a letter to a shop manager. So you can see that we don't know this shop manager. So what do you think? Is it a formal, semi formal, or informal letter? Yes, formal letter. Because we write letters to the formal letters to the people we don't know personally. Write a letter to your neighbor. So what do you think? Is it a formal, semi-formal, or informal letter? Right. This is a semi-formal letter. Why? Because we know our neighbors personally, but not very closely. Semi-formal letters to people we know personally, but not very closely. They are not our friends or family. Write a letter to your friend. So what do you think? Is it a formal letter, semi-formal letter, or informal letter? Yes, informal letter. Why? Because we write informal letters to our friends and family and relatives. Write a letter to your company director. So it means you know your company director personally, but not very closely. So what do you think? Formal, semi-formal, or informal? Right, semi-formal. Okay, you don't know this person very closely. This person is not your friend or family. So that's why it's a semi-formal letter. Write a letter to your mother. So what do you think? Formal, semi-formal, or informal? Yes, informal. Because we write informal letters to our family members and friends. Write a letter to a newspaper editor. So what do you think? Formal, semi-formal, or informal? Yes, formal. Because we don't know the editor of this newspaper personally, so that's why this is a formal letter. So I would recommend that you should rewind this lesson 2 3 times and consolidate it, okay, and know the difference between formal, informal, and semi-formal letters if you really want to get a good band score. Second basic, when you are asked to write a letter, so first thing you write is the greeting. Then you write 3 paragraphs, one paragraph on each bullet point, and then you write the closing statement, and in the end you write the closing and your full name. Okay, so have a look at this format. Okay, look at this. So here, dear sir or madam, okay, this is the greeting, and then you have first paragraph, second paragraph, and third paragraph. So in the I mean, for each bullet point you write a paragraph, and then you have your statement, okay, closing statement. I look forward to your response, and then you have closing, yours faithfully, and then you write your full name. Let's talk about greeting. Okay, this is very very important, and I will recommend that you memorize this. So if you write a formal letter, so you start your letter with dear sir or madam. So you can see that I have started dear with capital D, sir with capital S, or with small o, and madam with capital M, and I have put a comma at the end. So never make these mistakes. Okay, be very careful where you have to write a capital letter and where you have to write a small letter. Second one is semi-formal letters. So dear Mr. Smith. So you can see that I have started dear with capital D, Mr. with capital M, and Smith with capital S because it's a name, and I have put a comma at the end. And informal letters, you write an informal letter, okay. So you start your letter with dear John, dear Aslam, okay, you can write any name. So you start dear with capital D and John with capital J, and then you put a comma. Okay, so be very careful about that, don't make this mistake. Closing, if you are writing a formal letter, so you end your letter with yours faithfully. So you can see that I have started yours with capital Y. I have put an S with yours. Okay, never miss out this S. And then I have written faithfully with small letter, small f, faithfully. And I have put a comma at the end. Semi-formal. So you can see semi-formal letter. We end our letter with yours sincerely. So I've started yours with capital Y, and I have ended it with an S, yours. and then I have written sincerely with a small letter, and I have put a comma in the end. Informal letter, for informal letter, we end our letter with best wishes, and we put a comma at the end, and you can see that I have started best with capital B and wishes with small w. Okay, memorize this. And the last piece is closing statement. So when you write a closing statement for formal letter, you write, I look forward to hearing from you. So remember, you use ing, okay, after to, first form plus ing, to hearing. So don't make this mistake, don't miss out this ing. So for semi-formal letter, you write the same sentence. I look forward to hearing from you. Okay. So it means for formal and semi-formal letter, you can write this closing statement. And for informal letters, you write hope to see you soon, and then you write a sign of exclamation at the end. Okay. And you start your informal statement, closing statement with a capital H. So that was your lesson. Okay, first lesson for is writing task one, letter writing, and see you in the next lesson. Thank you.